welcome. On this session we are going to make the beautiful woman knit sweater, and guess what, I will have a giveaway for this session. It's 100% free, guys, and right here is knit texture that you can bring it into CLO and apply that onto your knit garments, like what I'm going to introduce after I finish demonstrate how to bring in your knit texture, as well as talk a little bit about the measurement and the formula that we are going to use to make this knit sweater. So if you guys are new to making knit sweater, we do have a lot of issue with the neckband as well as the hem. Let me show you this image here. So as you can see right here, we have this fitted sleeve cuff as well as fitted hem and neckband. And many designer run into issue of the neckband kind of super stretched and it doesn't fit really well. So in this session I will show you how to make those neckband as well as hem and sleeve cuff to fit perfectly as a knit sweater should be. So now, oh, by the way guys, let me show you the fabric. So I have total of fabric 18, okay, 18 of them, and 10 of them are cable knits. So let me select the image. So right here, 10 of them are cable knit, and guys, seamless repeat. Okay, so I'm quite excited about that, because if you guys been using Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator to create your digital fabric, you know how hard or time consuming to produce any those knit fabric, and when you brought into CLO, it doesn't have this realistic look. However, with this fabric, I create that in Apex Fish, and as you can see right here, it's seamless repeat cable knit fabric with this high quality JPEG file you can bring into Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, as well as CLO or Marvelous Designer. If you comfortable using Marvelous Designer, you can actually bring that texture in to and drop it onto your garment. All right, so that, okay, tens of the cable knits right there, and now I have right here, so rib knit fabric. I create this specifically for that cable knit because they come in different colors. So this color right here, from turquoise, blue, pink, cream, and so on, they are tailored toward the cable knits right here, because we want to turn that into either sleeve cuff or neckbands as well as hems. And of course you can actually use that as a bodice for the garment as well. However though, if you guys wonder how to download that for free, let me show you the link, and I have the link right beneath the video. So okay, let me get over here, and I'm going to simply come to first get to my blog. And by the way guys, I also have blog link where you can go in. However, the formula and the measurement I'm not yet listed, so I will show you in a second. Give me a minute. So I will show you a second the formula and the measurement. Right now I'm going to show you where to download this free digital fabric. So when you click on the link, you will come to this page here. So Gumroad. So if you guys familiar with Gumroad, or if not, it's easy guys, it's super easy to check out your product And in this case, I listed for free. Let's see, I have published it. All right, let me go back to my link here and I'm going to click on it. So 18. Okay, so if I click on that link right there, it will come to this point. So you can come down here and you can select checkout, and as you can see right here, it's $0. So it's 100% free. So you guys welcome to click on this image here to see more detail about it. And there is it. Oh, by the way guys, this is come with different sizes, and those sizes, even though they come with different size, however though they are seamless repeat, when you bring it into CLO, those size will repeat it endless. Doesn't matter how much size the fabric that you created in CLO, it will fill the entire thing with seamless repeat. Okay, so now let's get to the formula. I know you guys are excited because I am. When it's come to making knit fabric pattern, it's a little bit more tricky compared to just a regular pattern. So I will show you why. Let me get back to that formula. So right here, knit sweater. All right, so this is the formula. Okay, I promise guys, even though it looks like a bunch of number, but it's super simple. So the measurement, and first of all, the avatar, we will use the default avatar. You can select any avatar you want as long as it's default size. And here, the measurement, I pretty much use this 1/4 measurement for bust circumference, for waist circumference, and so on. And the top length right here is 63, and we will use this measurement as well as the formula. Okay, so the formula here, and by the way guys, this is, I will put together in a blog and then we'll list this after I finish the live video. Okay, and not only that, I will also create a tutorial about making this knit sweater. So I will get to the point and explain in a short and concise manner, so it's easy and fast for you guys to follow along. Alright, so get back to the formula part. The formula part here is pretty much the same like I draft the pattern, however though we add a couple more things here. Shrinkage and elasticity. So that's what makes the difference between knit and not knit fabric pattern. Okay, so the shrinkage here 90% for neckband, hem, and cuff, and elastic we use for neckband 10 and 80, and for the hem 2 and 95. So it will make a lot of sense when we doing it. So let's get to the pattern drafting so we can actually jump into draft the pattern. Okay, and right here I'm in CLO and the default avatar here loaded, so I'm going to begin. Oh, once again guys, if you want to work along, you can print it out or actually print the formula out, or you can write down. So for me here, I wrote down everything on my notebooks and I'm going to go for that. So use the notebook. Alright, we are going to use this rectangle tool here. Click one on it to select, then we're going to click one on the page here, and I'm going to type in the top width. So this is the hem circumference that we are going to use for the width, and in this case hem circumference is 22.5 for the width, and the height, that is a top length which is 63. After that I'm going to come down here and click on OK. Alright, so I'm going to bring that pattern up just a little bit and zoom it into. And I want to also reset this pattern to match. Simply come to the 3D toolbar, click on that reset to rearrangement all to reset the pattern. And we are going to expand this to the window a little bit. Okay, so next, once again, we are going to create the internal line from top down and from center out. Simply use this edit pattern tool and click on this top part right here, and then right click, and we want to select offset as internal line. And we're going to change the number of offset to 4, and then press on the tab key to confirm. And distance, we want to change that to individual. And offset from, we want to change that to selected line. And let's expand this window a little. Alright, okay, first line, we want to type in 1.5, press on the tab key. And then we want to type in 4 centimeter here for the second line. And then the third line. The third line is 22. That is the armhole depth. And then the fourth line, that is 35. And that is a waist length from high point shoulder to the waist. And I'm going to click on OK. Alright, now we want to create the internal line from the center. Simply click one, right click, and then select offset as internal line. And once again, by default, I have 4 number of offset, which is perfect. Distance individual. Offset from, select, sorry guys, I always trip on that word. Selected line. Okay, so now we're gonna go to first line, 8.5. So that is the dot line. It's also the neck width. Okay, then I'm going to press on the tab key, and here the second line, we are going to type in 18, and that is the shoulder length, 1/2 of the shoulder length. Then I'm going to press on the tab key, and the third line, we're going to type in waist circumference. So in this case, waist circumference is 20. And then last but not least, that is a bust circumference. So bust circumference in this case is 22. I'm going to type in 22 and like expand this window a little bit so we can see better. So 8.5, 18, 36, 20, 40, okay, 22, perfect. Next, we will click on OK. Alright, let's put this down for a second. So now I got all the measurement down and some part of the formula. Next, we want to convert this line to baseline. Let's lock the pattern outlines first. And my key selects all these lines here. And right click and select convert to baseline. Then we want to lock them just like that. Alright, next we want to draw a back pattern shape. Okay, so we're going to use this internal polygon slash line tool and begin drawing from this back right here and come over here and then to the point right here. And then I'm going to kind of zoom in a little. We want to come to this point, that is bust circumference, and then waist circumference, and come down here. We want to come all the way to the pattern outline and then click on twice to end the line. Alright, next we want to convert this to curve. Simply use this edit curvature tool and click and then drag it in just like that. Quite simple, guy. And then we want to click this in, create just, you know, a little curve, give it a little smooth curve. And this curve right here, let's say I don't like this curve. I can turn it into a straight line by add a point. So let's say I'm going to select this add point slash split line, click one right here. And then I press on the delete or backspace on the keyboard to delete that point. Now we remove the curve. We can create the curve again. Simply use that tool right there. And edit curvature tool here. Shortcut key is C, guys. Let it C, sorry. And then simply drag it in. And looks pretty good. Let's bring it out a little. So that looks pretty awesome. So now we want to create curve right here. We're gonna use different tool. We will use this smooth curve tool. Simply click one, drag it outward, right click, and we want to click on this links icon here, and I'm going to type in 7 and then click on OK. Now we create this perfect curve. And next we want to create front pattern. To create a front pattern, refer to the formula guide. So we want to offset this internal line here 1 and 1.5, and the front neck depth here in this case is let me go back to the measurement. So front neck depth right here 12 centimeter, and right here we already create the back neck depth, which is 4, which is perfect. Now let's get back to CLO, and we will create 3 internal lines for the front pattern. Alright, so let me put this back, and we will use this edit pattern tool guide. This is super essential for pattern making tool. Simply click first line. Okay, first of all, for me to click on this pattern outline, I have to unlock it first. So place the mouse on the page, right click, and we want to select unlock all pattern outlines. Okay, and then click one right there on that top line, right click, and we want to select offset as internal line. Then I'm going to change that value to 1, and then right here I will change that to 12 because that is the front neck depth, and then click on OK. Next we want to create 2 more internal lines from the shoulder slope. Click one, right click, and then select offset as internal line. And in this case we want to increase that to 2 and press on, simply change the value here to 1, and then press on the tab key and then 1.5, and we want to come down here and click on this reverse direction box to turn on, and after that we'll click on OK. Alright, next we want to convert them to baseline as well. So by default I have 2 of them selected. I will press on shift and then click one on this one, right click, and then we want to convert to baseline, and once again let lock start as well. And next we want to draw the front pattern. So I will come to this internal polygon chart line tool, click one right here, come up here, click one right there, and then come down here. We want to click one right here. Perfect. And then we want to come down here, click twice to end. Next we want to turn this to curve. Simply use the edit curvature tool and then click right here, bring it in slightly from the back pattern, just like that. And then the front here we want to create, so since we want to create a crew neck, we want to turn this into curve. Okay, so if you want to create a V-neck, we can just drag slightly in a little, but since we want to create this kind of oval or crew necks in this case, we'll convert it to a really curve, just like that. Okay, alright, so that looks about right. Next we want to trace these as pattern. First we want to use the transform pattern tool, and we want to select this back pattern first. Click one right there, and I'm going to switch the tool to trace tool here, and then press on shift. We want to click right here, right here. Now I'm going to right click and then select trace as pattern, and while my shift key is pressing down, I'm going to click one right here to place the pattern. Alright, next we want to make the copy. So to make a copy, I will use the transform pattern tool once again. Click on that pattern, right click, and we want to select symmetric pattern with sewing. And I'm going to press on shift and then click one to place. So shift key allows us to have this guideline. When you click on it, now the pattern level to each other. Okay, now let's remove the link editing. Right click and then select remove link editing, and we want to remove the part that's not pattern. So for this example, I want to remove this line right here, and then simply delete, and then come over here. We want to cut this, and simply cut. All right, so now I'm going to, first of all, let me undo this. I'm going to check something. All right, so before we cut this, we want to adjust this pattern out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use this edit pattern tool. Simply click and bring it out, so then when we cut it, we don't have to actually go back and fix it. So let me use the transform pattern tool, click on it, right click, and then select cut. So now a pattern is perfect, just like that. I'm going to remove this point. Let's see if I can convert them to curve point without cause so much trouble. Alright, so convert to curve point. Yep, it's perfect. So next, this is exciting, guys. We want to draft the sleeve. So when it comes to drafting the sleeve, if we follow the formula, make it so simple and super easy. But to most pattern maker, they don't like drafting sleeve because they have to do trial and error to figure out how much the sleeve would fit to the armhole. However though, in this video, I will show you how to use this perfect formula that I use it many times in the past to create pattern, and super simple, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do it. By the way, I also have the formula and I will show you in the guideline. It's so cool. So we want to measure that bicep, the arm holder. You want to measure the entire armhole, divide that by 2, and then subtract 4. So that's a formula that I use to draft the sleeve. So divide by 2, subtract 4. Okay, it has to be in order or it won't work. So let's go back to do that. First, we want to measure this. So simply click 1, press on shift, and then click 1 right here, and then come to the property editor, 43.2. All right, so I'm going to write that down, 43.2. Okay, and then we're going to divide that by 2. So let's get that. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to divide that by 2. 43.2 and divide that by 2. And we want to write that number down because that is the number that we want to create the pattern for. So divide that by 2 equal 21.6. Okay, now we're going to subtract that by 4. And right now that is 17.6. So 17.6. Okay, so first of all, guys, if you've been doing it for a while, it is seem easy, yes. But if a little bit confusing, I would recommend practice a few times and then you will see the pattern. Okay. All right. So now we are going to use the rectangle tool and click on it to select. So I'm going to click one on the page here, and the width. So the width here, we will use 17.6. Excuse me. So 17.6, and then the sleeve length in this case is 60, and then I'm going to click on OK. All right, so now we want to create two internal lines here, one from the top and one from the center, and we will use this edit pattern tool here and simply click one right there, right click, and then select offset as internal line, and then we are going to change this to 1 and change the value to 12. So 12 is part of the formula. Okay, then I'm going to click on OK. Okay, so I just made a mistake here. Instead of the internal line come down here, it went up. So in this case we have to pay attention. So I'm going to delete that line and then go back and repeat the step. Click one right there and then select offset as internal line. Okay, so the mistake here, I leave this reverse direction box is checked, so we want to uncheck that. So now as you can see, the line is placed where it's supposed to be. Next I'm going to click on OK, and we want to create another internal line here, so click one, right click, and then I'm going to select offset as internal lines, and then this case we want to change the value to 13 for wrist circumference. Okay, so 13, 1.5, so 26, and then I'm going to click on OK. All right, we want to convert this line to baseline as well, and then log them, and then we're going to draw the sleeve shape. So this is pretty cool. I will use this once again, internal polygon shadow line tool, click one right here and then come down here, and then we want to click twice to end the line. Now we'll use the edit curvature tool. It's super cool, guys. And to perfect the curve, we will use this edit pattern tool. Simply click down here and then drag it down. Okay, so now we're going to look at the number here. So we will try to get this line here to have 21.6. okay, so it's really close already. All I need to do here, click it up here and then bring it down here. So in reality 21.70 is fine, but since we are working electronically like in CLO, we can literally get it to the point. Okay, however though, I would recommend leave it a little bit east for the sleeve cap, because that make it kind of looks better. But since it is knit, we want to be exact. Okay, because knit fabric is stretchy and we don't want the sleeve to have extra. We want it just fit just right. So right now is 21.6, almost there. So come it out. So as you can see right here, I can bring it out a little over here. So perfect. So that is perfect. All right, now we are going to cut this into a sleeve. So we will use the transform pattern tool. Click one right here, right click, and then select cut. So before we go any further, guys, it's a good practice to have I'm in the middle of streaming, dude. Please close the door, thank you. So now we're going to save it just for best practice. When we work with electronically, sometimes if things go wrong, we could lose all the file. So I will go to file and then click on save as, and we want to save that as projects. Okay, and after that I'm going to name this like knit sweater. And I also like to create a folder for it, because when we save CLO file, project or garment, you will get two files. The file itself comes with a project file plus .png for the thumbnail. So best practice to do this is to create a folder, and then you always know that thumbnail come with that project file in one folder. Okay, next I'm going to simply paste it. So line knit sweater, and I'm going to create a folder and then click on save. Okay, we are almost there, guys. So we want to move this over here a little, and then we want to unfold it. Simply use this edit pattern tool, click one on the center, right click, and then we want to select unfold. Okay, there you go. Next, let's remove this point here. I don't need that. And let's bring this out here a little bit. So now it looks about right. Alright, so after that we need to clean this. Okay, first of all, guys, I would normally save this as a first draft, and then I will save the second file as a final draft. But for this case, to save us time, I will work in this file. So what I need to do here, I need to bring this pattern up here, just like that, and then come over here to this 3D toolbar and click on this reset 2D arrangement all to arrange this pattern. As you can see right here, now the pattern are matched to either 3D or 2D windows, and we want to freeze that pattern as well as hide the 3D pattern so that it won't affect our working process here. Okay, now let's press on Command or Control plus letter S to save. Okay, by the way, guys, let me get back to the, see if it's still there. So here, free 100% free fabric texture, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for your support and for being here and being my most amazing viewer and members. I just want to, let me go back to the image there. So I just want to say thank you guys for following me quite some time, as well as for your support, and hopefully you guys enjoy pattern making in CLO 3D as well as the process of designing clothes. And I do appreciate you guys being here and give the support, and I hope my work help you guys work to, you know, kind of have more fun and enjoy the working process rather than stressing out, because I do understand sometimes when I can't figure out something, I just like can't sleep. I have to like figure that out before I like can relax. So I hope you guys, you know, have idea and become more and more comfortable with making pattern, as well as if you guys have any question about pattern making, leave a comment below the video. I promise to read and respond. Okay, and once again, guys, this I can't say enough about this knit texture. It's so amazing that you can just drop into your CLO file and turn your design into super realistic, as you can see right here. And as I mentioned, is 100% free, guys. Total of the knit item 18. And guess what, I'm going to create the pattern and we'll list it on Etsy as well. So the knit pattern will coming up really soon. and I'm going to list it for sale on Etsy. Okay, and with this free fabric, of course you can also make the pattern, but if you don't want to make a pattern, you're just starting out and you just want to practice sewing CLO, I will have this pattern for sale. And not only that, you can have a complete garment. You can put it in your library when you need it, or you can also use the practice file, because I will have practice file, complete garment. The practice file you can bring into CLO and practice sewing and see how the pattern works. Okay, all right, now let's get back to the pattern once again. It's a lot of fun, guys, when you do it for a while. It just becomes your second nature with the formula and so on. And I also have more pattern on Etsy. I will always have links below. And once again, if you guys have any question, leave a comment below the video. Promise to get back. Okay. All right. So next, before we go any further, we want to clean this pattern. Okay. And to clean this pattern, we're going to come over here and unlock that guidelines, because some of the lines we don't need them. We will simply delete them just like that. And some we can't delete all, we can only adjust, but I will show you how it. Okay, I just made a mistake here. I'm going to Command or Control plus letter Z to undo. And another thing here, we want to delete this line. So that's another thing too. If you make mistakes, simply click Command or Control plus letter Z to undo. And right here, so some line we do need, some line we don't. And this line here we do need right there. So I'm going to extend that to trim to pattern outline. And right here we don't need this line. And let kind of trim it to fit the pattern outline. Alright, so next I'm going to lock that pattern, lock that baseline, and we want to create notches for the pattern. So to create notches, I will create one in the front and then two in the back. Simply use this notch tool and then hover the mouse on that line right there, right click, and we want to type in 9 centimeter and then click on OK. And right here 9 centimeter. So we want to create notches 9 centimeter from the bottom. And down here we want to create 2. So first one will be 11 and then click on OK. Then the second one will be 9. So hover the mouse on that line right there and then right click. Then I'm going to type in 11 and then click on OK. And then here I'm going to type in 9. Perfect. Alright, so now let's switch the tool to transform pattern tool so we can see better. Okay, so we're almost done, guys. Now all we need to do here, place the pattern on to the avatar and then sew it. Alright, so if we are drafting regular pattern, this is almost finished. However though, we also need to create sleeve cuff, hem for the top, and the neckband, because that's what the knit top that we're going to create. Alright, so to create the neckband, so first of all, let's place this on the avatar and then sew it, and then we will create the facing later. I'm going to use this segment sewing tool to sew the sleeve, and then to sew the shoulder. Then we will use the free sewing tool to sew the sleeve cap. Simply click one right there to end and then press on shift. We want to click right here, and click here and here, and then release the shift key. And we want to also sew right here, and then right here. And okay, let's turn on this show arrangement point, we want to place this pattern there. So front pattern, click one and then place it right here. Oh, by the way guys, I'm not going to label this pattern. However, if you want to see how to label this pattern, I have the video link below, or how to label the pattern, or you can go to my channel. Let me so if you go to Encoder Fashion and then click on this right here, this search icon, and then type in, like, say, annotation, and then press on search, and you will see the video on how to name pattern and close 3D and annotation. So this video will show you how to name your pattern. Okay, all right, so let's get back to CLO. And here we want to, so where I place the pattern here, let's hide that show arrangement point, and let's click and then bring this out a little. I think that's okay. All right, so now let's simply make a copy. Right click, and then we want to select symmetric pattern with sewing and zoom in. Let's press on shift and then click one right there to place the pattern. Okay, so now we finished placing the pattern onto the avatar. We are going to sew this back pattern here, right there, and we also want to sew this front pattern just like that. Okay, all right, how about simulate, then see how the pattern looks. Okay, actually the pattern looks pretty awesome, guys. Let's stop the simulation and press on number 2 to see the front view. Okay, now we're going to create this part. So now I'm going to look at the number that we want to, so the measurement here. So neckband height, we want to create 2.2 centimeter, and the width we will use the, so one more thing here, we want to have the hem and cuff 5 centimeter. Okay, let hem and cuff 5 centimeter. So let's go back and do that. I'm going to zoom this out and use this edit pattern tool. We want to click one right here, and then right click, click one right there, and then look at the measurement. So the measurement in this case here, 15.85. Let me write that down. So 15.85, so that is for the front. And the back, I will show you how to create the back. So we want to go to this rectangle tool, click on it, and then click one right here. And once again, 15.85. That is the width, and the height we want to type in 2.2. Okay, and then come down here, we want to change the number of shape to 2 and click on OK. Let's bring them up a little, just like that. And I'm going to bring this one over here to the back, and we are going to measure this. So right here, measure the back, so 10.2. okay, let's write that down too, 10.2, and we want to change this size to 10.2. Simply use this transform pattern tool, click one right here, and you see this kind of dot right here, double click on it, and when it's turned red, we will simply hover the mouse on here, click, then drag it in and right click, and it doesn't work, so I'm gonna do it again. Click in and then right click. All right, so we want to change this entire length here to 10.2. okay, just like that. And after that, I'm going to click on OK. Alright, so double check here. Here should be 10.2 and here should be 10.2. And that's what we want. Let's move this over here. Okay, so now we are going to create or unfold it so we can have both. I'm going to use this edit pattern tool. Click right here and then right click. And then we want to unfold, but we use this function. Unfold symmetric editing with sewing. Okay, I will do the same here. So this allows us to sew with only one side and then it will affect both. Okay, so next we want to create the sleeve cuff as well as the hem. Once again, I'm going to measure this right here. So 22.5 for the front, and let's see the back. The back here also 22.5. So we'll create just one and then create both. And right here, 26. So let's simply do this. Create this one, 22.5. Let's just create two of those. So the width here, 22.5, and the height, we want to type in 5 centimeter. That's just part of the formula. Okay, so first of all, this is something that I forgot to mention. Since the sleeve and the cuff and the hem, we add 5 centimeter, we have to subtract 5 centimeter. So to do that, first we want to subtract this. Simply click right here and then press on shift, click right here, and then click right here. I'm going to right click and then we want to come down here to offset pattern outline. And we want to change that to restrict and type in 5 centimeter. And after that, I'm going to click on OK. Alright, so now we restrict this 5 centimeter. We are going to measure that and then add back 5 centimeter for the hem. So I'm going to measure this. So now it is 22.05, which is the same, 22.05, and this is a little bit bigger, which just makes sense. 22.05. Let's create two of those. So 22.05, press on the tab key and then type in 5 centimeter, and we want to change the number of shape to 2. Then click on OK. Alright, and I'm going to bring it over here. Also bring it over here. Okay, so next we want to create one as well. So we will use the trinket function to shrink it to make this thing looks realistic. Okay, so first of all, let's create this next one, 26.96. So 26.96, and then type in here 5 centimeter and then click on OK. Alright, so let's simply drag it up here. Now they look pretty good. Press on Command or Control plus letter S to save the pattern, guys. We're almost done. So, I mean, yeah, actually 10 more minutes. I'm not sure if we're gonna finish this, but if we're not finished, I will promise to bring it back and continue next week, okay? But let's try how far we can go. So next we want to sew this pattern and then make copy. So I'm going to use the segment sewing tool. Because it is one segment to one segment, it is good to use the segment sewing tool. So I can see right here, since I use the function that unfold symmetry, you can only need to sew one side and affect both. I will do the same here. It saves us so much time. And I'm going to sew right here, and here, and here. And after that, let my key selects all these hem and cuff and come to this 3D window, right click on it, and we want to superimpose side. Alright, so that looks pretty good. And we'll do the same with this neckband. click and then right click and then select superimpose side, and the same with the back neck here, right click, and then we want to select superimpose side. All right, next we want to make copies. Down here, marquee selects all the element curve, right click and then select symmetric pattern with sewing. And let's zoom in a little, press on shift, click one to place them. And there you go. Let's strengthen this pattern a little. And I'm going to simulate. Alright, so right now, the neck, as you can see right there, it doesn't look great. Let unstrengthen. And let's sew. Here, we want to sew the front shut, the side, and the back, as well as the sleeve cuff. But I'm going to sew it over here. Okay, now let's strengthen again and simulate one more time. Okay, now stop the simulation. Okay, so this is pretty awesome, guys. Let unstrengthen, and we are going to use this shrinkage. How about let's apply the fabric first? Okay, so to apply the fabric, guys, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to bring those knit fabric texture into CLO, and to do so we'll go to this library tab and click on this plus icon. So if you first download the fabric, you will see the zip folder. So I'm going to click on this folder, so you will see this zip folder. Guys, be sure you guys unzip the folder first, or it doesn't work. So you want to unzip the folder, and this is the folder that unzip. I'm going to click on that folder. So the zip folder, it will have the gray out. That doesn't work. So you want to unzip your folder first and then click on open. And now I'm going to double click on that folder. And here, this is so much fun, guys. You can drag and drop any of these fabric you want. So right here, the blue, the pink, whichever one you want to work with. I like this blue one because it's, for some reason, I guess it's just the weather right now. And then you want to click on OK, because by default we have this texture box is checked, and then click on OK, then you're good. Alright, so next we want to come over here, and then we want to make that copy. So click right here to make a copy. Let's name this trim. Okay, and we want to name this bodice. Alright, so now we're going to drag the trim right here and then drag onto the trim, to 1x1 rib. So I'm going to change that to lift view so we can see right here. So right here, 1x1 rib, we want to drag that onto the trim. Okay, and then we're going to marquee select all the trim here, and then come over here to this fabric and then click on this assign icon right there. So now as you can see right here, of course it doesn't look that great because we have to adjust it, and we want to do this as well with the next. Click assign to assign the trim, and right here, guys, you can have the option of making it look just like this. Let me go back, just like this, or you can do different color. Let's say the hem I want it white rather than blue with blue. I can do with just that. So let me show you. You want to marquee select all these trim right there, and then we want to come over here to this knit texture in 3D toolbar. Click on that, and you can simply click and then drag like that. See right here, so instead of blue I can leave it white like that, or you can keep going. Okay, this is blue and red like what I show, or blue and black, or keep going. You can do like white and black, But I tend to either like white with blue like this, or go with blue and then black. And as you can see right there, guys, it's seamless repeat, okay? And I'm going to simply come over here and then do the same with the next band. Click and then come to that texture and then click and then keep continue dragging. So right here, if you can see right here, I have, so instead of black, I have gray. So what I need to do here, I need to rotate it. So while that thing selected like that, click over here and then I want to rotate this. Okay. So after you rotate it and you bring it out, now you have black. How are those? Simply rotate it nicely. You want it even, okay? And then bring just like that. All right. So here I forgot to sew this top part. Let's sew it right there. All right. And we also want to adjust this as well. So the back pattern, my key select the back pattern and then use the, once again, the texture fabric, and let's simulate. Alright, so as you can see right there, the next looks terrible, guys. The next band, we want to fix that issue. Let's stop the simulation. In fact, we are almost done, guys. We probably finished this before 5 o'clock. Okay. Alright, it's super close. Let's finish it, okay? So we are going to shrink this. I'm going to use the shrinkage. Alright. Alright, we have to come in here and I'm going to my key select that neckband right there. Actually, we have to do it one by one. I will switch the tool to transform pattern tool and then my key select that. And I'm going to once again double click on there. And as soon as it turns red, like that, I'm going to click and then drag it in and then right click. So instead of change the entire value, we want to change the percentage to 90%. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in 90% and then I'm going to click on OK. And if you look at closely here, now the size or the width is changed. So I'm going to come over here, do this back as well. I'm going to my key select that, double click on the center, click, drag it in, right click, and change that percentage to 90, and then click on OK. Alright, so next I'm going to, let's simulate and see what it looks like. Alright, it looks much better. However, it can be improved. As you can see right here, if I look at closely, the neck, let me hide the avatar so we can see better. So the neck here, naturally knit fabric, it kind of shrink in from the top a little bit smaller compared to the bottom. Okay, so we will do that. Simply come down here. I'm going to actually let revise the value a little. Alright, so let come over here and then we want to use this edit pattern tool and click one right there and then press on shift, click one right here and come to the property editor. Let's change, let's select on elastic and I'm going to use that value, so strength 10 and then ratio 80 and then let's simulate. Alright, so maybe a little bit much. How about let's drop that to 5 and then press on the tab key and then change this to 90 and then press return enter on the keyboard to confirm. And let's try to simulate again, see if it needs better. So actually I kind of like the 5 and 90. Let's try again. So 5 and 90. Let's see here. So both the same. And let hide the avatar and then see what it looks like. So actually I kind of like this value here, but it's up to you. You can actually make it shrink like smaller as you want. Let, for example, I showed you earlier, which is 10 and 80 value, but for me looks like 5 and 90 is about right. Or let's go back to 10 and 80 and then shrink it again. So that also appropriate, and it is up to you. And let me turn on the avatar just like that. So you can have between 5 and 90 or 10 to 80, it's up to you. Okay, so now right here, the hem. We want to change the elastic to 2, and let me look at the number. So 2 and 95. And once again guys, elastic right here, the bottom line, and then press on shift, the bottom line here, come to the property editor, turn on elastic, type in the strength of 2, and then the ratio here 95, and then press on the return, enter on the keyboard, and let's strengthen. Alright, I mean simulate, so excuse me. And let's see, how about strengthen the pattern, and then I'm going to unstrengthen. Alright, so this is it guys. Now the fabric and the knit texture looks pretty amazing on to the sweater itself. So I'm going to finish this for now, and if you guys have any question, please let me know, and I love to know and learn more. If you guys have any suggestion about the video in the future, leave a comment below the video, not in the chat box. What happened when you leave the comment in the chat box is like I can't read it later, so be sure to leave the comment in the chat box and in the video description. That's when I read the comment. Okay, so there you have a designing start. Don't forget to download that free fabrics so you can practice and have fun with them. Okay, thanks so much for watching guys.